Buckingham Palace has just confirmed a heartbreaking update about Prince Louis, and it's left the nation emotional. This isn't a tragedy, but a powerful glimpse into how the youngest royal is coping with an unimaginable year. What the palace revealed shows a side of Louis the public has never seen before. The announcement that left everyone speechless. On an unusually quiet morning, Buckingham Palace released a heartfelt update that left the nation stunned. The announcement wasn't about policy, scandal, or ceremony. It was about Prince Louis, the youngest child of Prince William and Princess Catherine. The message was unexpected, deeply emotional, and incredibly rare for a royal family known for its formality. It wasn't a tragedy being shared. There was no emergency or loss. But the tone of the message struck chords across the world. The word heartbreaking was used not because of grief, but because of the tender strength behind it. The palace shared that Louis had shown emotional resilience beyond his years, offering an unusual window into the child's world during a time of overwhelming personal change for the royal family. With Catherine's cancer diagnosis in early 2024 and King Charles's ongoing battle with illness, the Wales household has been under enormous strain. The statement confirmed what many had suspected, but few dared say aloud. Prince Louis has been quietly enduring, learning, and growing in the background of a turbulent year. At just 7 years old, he has been exposed to very adult realities, yet has handled them with grace few expected. Royal insiders say the message was meant to honor not just Louis's courage, but the way he has uplifted those around him. The youngest Wales has reportedly become a quiet force in the family, lifting spirits with his playfulness, charm, and thoughtful questions. "He makes us laugh when it's hardest," one aide quoted Catherine as saying. "He's the little light in our darker days." Public reaction was instant. Social media flooded with support, admiration, and heartfelt messages. Hashtags like #BraveLouis and #LittlePrince with a big heart trended globally. For a family that often shields its children from the spotlight, this moment of vulnerability, of letting the world in, proved powerful. It wasn't just about royal protocol. It was about parenting, emotion, and the universal experience of guiding a child through uncertainty. The announcement closed with a note that Louis continues to grow, surrounded by love, honesty, and laughter. It wasn't just a line, it was a message. In a world where titles often overshadow humanity, this update reminded the world that, royal or not, a child's heart beats the same. As the public absorbed the news, attention shifted not to royal duties or expectations, but to how Prince Louis has been raised, and why that parenting approach matters more than ever now. Prince Louis, growing up too fast. When Catherine's health crisis became public, followed shortly by King Charles's cancer diagnosis, it sent shockwaves through both the monarchy and the Wales household. But while the world focused on headlines, one little boy was quietly coming to terms with a reality no 7-year-old should have to face. Prince Louis, born into royalty, lives in a world filled with tradition, security, and public interest. But 2024 changed everything. For the first time, his world wasn't just about tree climbing, books, or royal waves. It was about understanding illness, emotional pain, and watching adults he loves deeply struggle with things he couldn't fix. William and Catherine, known for their hands-on parenting, took an intentional and deeply personal approach. They reportedly sat Louis down in their family kitchen at Adelaide Cottage and with gentle honesty explained what was happening. "Mummy isn't feeling well," they said, "but the doctors are helping her." Simple, honest, reassuring. That conversation marked the moment Louis began to grow up. Not by force, but through necessity. He asked questions. He cried. But more importantly, he started showing compassion in ways even his teachers noticed. He began checking in on others more, said a staff member at Lambrook School. He learned early that love sometimes means being strong for others. In many ways, Louis became the emotional anchor in the family. His playful energy never faded, but it shifted. His silly jokes at the dinner table, his habit of leaving handwritten notes around the house, his bursts of laughter during even the tensest moments, all became acts of healing. Catherine reportedly called him her cheeky sunshine. What's truly remarkable is that Louis wasn't shielded from the truth. He was included, respected, and guided. This wasn't just about telling a child bad news. It was about teaching him emotional intelligence. The result? A young boy who knows when to smile, when to listen, and when a simple hug can mean everything. And yet, he remains a child. He still races his siblings through the garden. He still plays with conkers and builds stories out of sticks and mud. He still laughs too loudly and sometimes forgets his homework. But now, behind those innocent eyes, there's a depth that wasn't there before. Louis isn't just growing up, he's growing into someone. Someone shaped not by duty, but by love. And as the world begins to take notice, one thing is becoming clear. While he may be the youngest of the Wales children, Prince Louis's story might just be the most unforgettable. How Prince Louis is coping behind palace walls. Behind the grand gates of Windsor, far from public stages and flashing cameras, Prince Louis is navigating the hardest year of his young life with surprising maturity. While the world only catches glimpses of royal children at official events, insiders say that what's happening behind closed doors is even more extraordinary. At just 7, Louis has become a vital emotional heartbeat in the Wales household. In recent interviews, Prince William has dropped small but powerful clues about how Louis is coping. He revealed that the family has embraced honesty, making space for tough conversations at home. Louis, while still the cheeky child the public loves, has taken on a new kind of role. He keeps us smiling, William shared during a speech, his tone unusually personal. Even when things are difficult, Louis finds the light. And that light often comes in laughter. Whether it's a joke at the dinner table, a spontaneous race through the garden, or one of Louis's famous doodles, he brings joy where it's most needed. Catherine, even while quietly undergoing treatment, has called him her little spark of sunshine. She reportedly keeps some of his drawings by her bedside, finding comfort in his innocent hope. The family has intentionally created a healing routine. Evenings are sacred. The Waleses cook simple meals together, watch movies in their cozy sitting room, and share stories at bedtime. These small rituals have helped Louis and his siblings feel safe, grounded in love despite the chaos around them. It's in the normal things, William once said, where we find the strength to carry on. Louis spends much of his free time outdoors, where his imagination still runs wild. He collects sticks and leaves, builds forts with Prince George, and loves hiding his treasures for Princess Charlotte to find. These simple pleasures have kept his world playful, even while he's learning that life isn't always easy. What's most touching is how aware Louis has become of others' emotions. Family insiders say he regularly checks in with Catherine, asking if she needs tea or help. He makes cards for King Charles, decorated with sunshine and hearts. At school, he comforts friends who seem upset and loves talking about his family garden, where they grow vegetables together. One teacher shared, "He's not just smart, he's kind." In many ways, Louis is healing through helping. And that's something no one expected from someone so young. But it's exactly this quiet strength that has made him the emotional glue of the family this year. Next, the world saw just how deeply Louis's charm reaches when one unexpected letter arrived, changing everything with a single invitation. An unexpected letter changes everything. In the middle of an otherwise quiet week, a letter arrived at Adelaide Cottage that made headlines around the country. It came from the organizers of the World Conquer Championships, a quirky but beloved British tradition that celebrates childhood joy, nature, and fun. They had heard, through whispers and press snippets, that Prince Louis adored collecting conquers, and they had a proposal. They wanted to make him an honorary patron of their event. It was a sweet, humorous gesture, rooted in affection and admiration. Though Louis is not a working royal, the idea of connecting a royal child to something so delightfully ordinary struck a chord. In an age of stiff ceremonies and distant monarchs, this felt refreshingly human. The response from the palace? Instant classic. A note was sent back from Louis's family reading, "Prince Louis is currently conquering his studies, but he sends his best wishes." That one-liner exploded online. It was the perfect mix of humor, warmth, and subtle messaging. The public loved it. Royal fans praised William and Catherine's parenting style, while media outlets replayed the line across social feeds. For once, the talk wasn't about scandal or duty. It was about a child being allowed to be a child. But beneath the laughter was something much deeper. The offer, though light-hearted, reminded people of just how visible Louis has become, and how carefully his parents protect his innocence. While the public may want more of him, William and Catherine have drawn a clear line. Louis's world is for learning, not public life. It also revealed how deeply the public connects with him. For all the royal heirs and senior members, it's Louis who seems to capture hearts most easily. His cheeky expressions, playful energy, and genuine love for nature paint a picture of a little boy living a very real life. Despite his royal birth, and perhaps that's why the story struck such a nerve, it was a reminder that not all royal news has to be heavy. Sometimes, a conquer and a kind reply are enough to lift spirits and bring people together. This letter was more than just an invitation. It was a sign of Louis's growing place in the national heart, and it confirmed what many royal watchers already suspected. The world is falling in love with Prince Louis. As attention turns back to the palace, the spotlight moves to what makes this all possible: Catherine and William's unshakable parenting values. Catherine and William's unshakable parenting values. William and Catherine built a rulebook for family life long before the headlines demanded it. At Adelaide Cottage near Windsor, they made choices that sound simple: no phones at the table, quiet evenings, real conversations. But those rules became a shield through 2024 to 2025, the toughest stretch the family has faced. The couple's approach isn't performative. It's deliberate. "We want them to be children first," William has said privately. That line sums up everything. The kids are loved as kids, not as future roles. The practical steps are straightforward. The children don't have personal mobile phones. School runs and homework are shared responsibilities. William drops off the children at Lambrook School. Catherine sits in for school events when she can. The family moved routines away from central London so the kids could have a steady, slower life. Their base near Windsor offers gardens, bike rides, and nature, places where children play without cameras. These choices create consistency. And consistency is a child's best safety net when the world feels unstable. Their parenting also leans on emotional honesty. When Catherine's illness became public in early 2024, they didn't hide the truth from George, Charlotte, and Louis. Instead, they explained it simply. Mummy needs time to get better. Doctors are helping. That approach taught Louis how adults can talk about hard things without panic. We try to answer their questions plainly, a close aide said. No half-truths, no secrecy that breeds fear. Children learn trust when their parents speak plainly, and that trust has kept the household steady. Boundaries are another non-negotiable. The palace may be a public place, but inside the family home, privacy rules apply. Photographs are rare and staged by the parents, not the press. Invitations for public patronage or honorary roles for the children are politely declined until the parents decide otherwise. The response to the World Conquer Championships, Louis is currently conquering his studies, was more than witty. It was a boundary firmly set in public view. It told the nation, we decide when our children step forward. Parenting here is also hands-on. William cooks with his children. Catherine reads stories and helps with art projects. They involve the kids in simple charity visits, not for cameras, but to teach compassion. Those moments quietly echo Princess Diana's legacy. Empathy in action, not in photo ops. The couple's quiet activism, mental health campaigns, conservation work, becomes a family lesson, not a show. Finally, their choices are forward-looking. Rather than shrinking childhood to a ceremonial training ground, they're giving their children options, a full royal life, or something outside of it. That freedom is radical inside a royal system where roles often feel preordained. William and Catherine aren't rejecting duty. They're reshaping how duty begins, with a childhood that actually feels like childhood. We want them to be children first, William reportedly told an aide. Everything else comes after. Next, how those values turned into real growth in Louis. Small acts, big heart. Prince Louis's gentle emotional growth. Louis is 7, but the way he moves through the world now shows lessons learned at home. The change is not dramatic, it's quiet and steady. Teachers say he's curious, playful, and emotionally aware. Family friends see him making small kindnesses, handmade cards for Catherine during her recovery, careful questions about how others are feeling, and an instinct to comfort when someone is sad. Those tiny acts add up. They are evidence that William and Catherine's parenting is working. Louis is growing into a child who cares as much as he plays. Outside, he still does things 7-year-olds do. He loves conkers, playground races, and hiding treasures in the garden. Inside, he's learning empathy. A teacher at Lambrook described a moment when Louis noticed a classmate upset and sat beside them until they smiled. He doesn't need to be the loudest, the teacher said. He simply shows up. That presence, unshowy but reliable, is rare in children of any age and more precious in a royal context where attention often rewards spectacle. Louis's humor has become a family balm. When dinners turn heavy, he cracks jokes or performs silly dances. Catherine calls him her cheeky sunshine. Those light moments are not distraction, they are resilience. Laughter in the right place helps a household hold grief without being swallowed by it. And Louis gives that gift freely, not because he knows its weight, but because he's loved enough to be himself. School life matters too. Louis is described as eager about nature, animals, and outdoor games. Those interests give him space to be a child and teach him responsibility and curiosity. They also fit the family's vision, a grounded childhood connected to the natural world rather than constant public display. Teachers remark on his kind questions, showing emotional literacy beyond years, a trait nurtured at home by honest conversations and calm routines. There's also a subtle public function to Louis's growth. He's becoming a symbol, not as a trained heir, but as proof that royals can raise emotionally healthy children. When the palace replies gently to public invitations, or when Catherine posts a warm photo of family life, the message is the same. Childhood is sacred. That stance softens public scrutiny and shifts the narrative from spectacle to empathy. "He keeps us smiling when it's hardest," William reportedly said. "He's the little light in our darker days." Still, Louis remains just a boy. He argues over toys, forgets homework, and explodes with energy in the garden. Those messy, ordinary moments are crucial. They remind everyone that behind titles, this child is learning, stumbling, and growing. And that's exactly how it should be. The V-Day moment that changed everything. No one expected Prince Louis to steal the spotlight during the 85th anniversary of Victory in Europe Day. Yet, as the Wales family stepped out for the commemorative event, something quietly remarkable happened. There were no cheeky faces, no waving arms, no mid-ceremony yawns. Instead, Louis stood still, his eyes focused. His posture mirrored Prince William. And just like that, the world saw a new side of him, calm, respectful, and deeply aware of the moment's importance. This wasn't the usual royal walkabout. It was a solemn event, filled with veterans, memories, and tributes to sacrifice. While George and Charlotte had already begun mastering their public roles, this was one of Louis's first major appearances since his family's private struggles. People held their breath, waiting for the unpredictable Louis to act out. But he didn't. Instead, he stood silently by his mother's side, glancing occasionally at William, as if checking if he was doing it right. Observers were stunned. A senior aide later admitted, "We expected a few giggles or distractions." But he stood there with such grace, like he knew the weight of it all. That's what made it unforgettable. Not that Louis behaved perfectly, but that his stillness felt sincere. The cheeky youngest child had shown he understood something deeper. It was as if the past year had gently matured him, not all at once, but enough to see the world with new eyes. Then came the most touching moment. As the family walked away from the memorial, Louis turned to greet a group of veterans standing nearby. He offered a cheerful wave, and according to a lip reader, said softly, "Thank you for being brave." Those 6 words spread across social media within minutes. And for many, they were more powerful than any adult speech. That wave, that sentence, and that look in his eyes turned Louis into more than just the fun one. It marked a public turning point. He was still playful, yes, but also learning how to carry himself with dignity. And not because someone told him to, but because it mattered to him. It's a rare moment when a child teaches adults something about respect and presence. But that day, Prince Louis did exactly that, and royal watchers noticed. It was like watching a boy take his first step toward the man he'll one day become, one commentator wrote. "He stood beside them, not behind them," another tweeted. Louis wasn't playing anymore. He was participating. Next, why this growth doesn't mean duty will come early, and how William and Catherine are protecting Louis's future. Why Louis won't be rushed into royal duties. After V-Day, many asked, is Prince Louis ready for royal life? The palace's answer? Not yet, and not anytime soon. Prince William and Princess Catherine are clear. Louis is still just a child, and childhood comes first. There are no official roles, titles, or royal duties waiting for him. Offers pour in, like the World Conquer Championships, but the palace politely declines. Louis is currently conquering his studies, they joked. The message? Let him grow. William remembers being in the spotlight too young. Catherine, a strong believer in early childhood development, insists on emotional readiness over public duty. They'll come into their roles when they're ready, Catherine once said, not when the world expects them to. Louis may one day serve, but it'll be his choice, not tradition's. For now, he's just a happy, curious 7-year-old, being raised with patience and purpose. A modern royal childhood in the making. Step inside Adelaide Cottage and you won't find a palace. You'll find a real home. Prince Louis grows up with muddy boots, art supplies, and outdoor play. No phones, no tablets, no cameras. Just family meals, bedtime stories, and time in the garden turning conkers into treasure. Prince William and Princess Catherine have crafted a life far from royal pressures. They want Louis to grow up grounded, not groomed. Inspired by Princess Diana's lessons, they're raising him with values, not visibility. Louis is learning kindness, patience, and empathy, not for photos, but for life. Quiet charity visits, honest talks, and simple joys define his days. "We're not raising a title," William once said. "We're raising a person." This isn't staged. It's sincere. Louis's childhood is modern, private, and full of meaning. A royal life, but lived with real heart. What the future holds for Prince Louis. At just 7 years old, Prince Louis is capturing hearts, not because of royal duty, but because of his warmth and quiet strength. While Prince George prepares for kingship and Princess Charlotte takes on a support role, Louis's future remains wide open. William and Catherine are giving him freedom to choose a life beyond tradition. Whether it's conservation, education, or creativity, they're raising him with values, not titles. His simple gestures speak volumes. Handmade cards for family, love for nature, and being a joyful light during tough times. He's learning that service is about kindness, not cameras. After his viral conquering his studies moment, royal fans began calling him the soul of the next generation. He may never wear a crown, but he's already redefining what it means to be royal. "He's the youngest," one insider said, "but he may leave the deepest mark." Louis's path isn't about power, it's about presence. A childhood built on love, not pressure, may shape the most grounded royal of all. Prince Louis may be young, but his quiet strength is inspiring millions. As he grows away from the spotlight, his story reminds us that even royals face real emotions. The future is unwritten, but one thing's certain. Louis's impact will be felt far beyond the crown. Stay tuned for what comes next.